Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Wednesday tea and toast. Well, doesn't this look very strange? Georgia and I are actually sat next to each other in the same building.
Wow.
This is
Wow.
so bizarre. You're going to have to bear with us this morning, guys, because this is all very new. All feels very strange. We've all been working from home for so long now, and this is our first official tea and toast back in the yard, 62 Gold Street. So yeah, it's all we're all moving forward and things are going on. So how are we all this lovely Wednesday morning? Laurel, how are you?
I'm good this morning. It's quite sunny
You good?
for once.
I
Yeah.
know it's looking lovely out there again today. I think we've got to make the most of it because apparently snow's on its way next week. Typical
Wow.
typical England, typical British weather. But yeah, did you have a good day? Did you get out in the sunshine yesterday at all?
Didn't manage to get out. It
You
was
didn't?
no, I didn't
Oh,
manage.
no.
I had meetings up until 3 p.m, so I didn't make it out.
You had a
Oh
busy day.
no.
A busy day. Oh, are you going to try and get out on it today?
Gonna try, yeah.
Oh, well, good for you.
Here he is.
Here is
Hello,
Luke.
you right?
Party,
The
as
Lukester.
always.
How you all doing?
Morning, you're right.
Yeah,
You
good,
right?
thanks.
Yeah, we're just talking about, well, how bizarre this is that Georgia and I are actually sat next to each other. We're in the yard, our first live tea and toast at the yard for a very long
Yeah.
time.
Threw me
Feels
when I
very
seen
weird.
it, when you're both on one screen.
I know. We did try to do our a separate setup. We knew there'd be some teething problems with our technology, and lo and behold, there was.
He was like,
Always.
Yeah, we had really bad feedback, so we've had to work like this. I think we'll perhaps try something else next week and see if we can improve on it. But as a starting point, I think this is all right. It's not bad at all. So, Georgia, how are you this morning?
I'm good, thank you, Jasmine. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm really good, thank you. I loved the sunshine yesterday. So once I finished work, Mabel and I went to the park. We went and met some friends, which was amazing. It's the first time we've been able to do that in a very long time. And we just enjoyed the sunshine, really. So yeah, Luke, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good today. Great. Same here,
Yeah.
really. The weather's lovely.
Did you
And
get out in the
always,
sunshine yesterday?
yeah, on the park all most of the day with my daughter. So yeah, we enjoyed it.
It's
Very
nice, isn't it? We're just saying, apparently, oh, look, Beth, look at you two sat next to each other. Fancy. I know, this is so bizarre. I can't get over it. I feel like because I have to keep turning my head if I want to speak to Georgia, which is just very strange.
Just look at me in the screen.
Yeah, I won't keep doing
We'll,
that.
we'll just act as if we're
Yeah,
online.
yeah. We'll pretend we're not sat
Like,
next to each other.
yeah, we'll pretend that we're not, but we are.
Yeah. So yeah, apparently snow next week. It just makes me laugh, this British weather. How can we go from glorious sunshine this week to snow
Is
next?
that a genuine thing? It's actually meant to be snowing this week.
Genuine. So after today, it's going to sort of decline the weather. It's still going to be okay over Easter, but it's not really going to be Gaza weather. And then I think it's from Monday onwards.
Isn't it cold?
Freezing. So that'll be a nice second half of the Easter holidays, trying to find things to do with the kids because you can only be outside. So that's going to be interesting. But hey ho. So I guess the first thing we need to talk about is obviously the change in the roadmap this week. So we hit the first stage, we've opened up slightly. So we're now allowed to meet 6 people or 2 households.
Yeah.
How did everyone feel on Monday? Because I heard so many people felt like a real sense of joy and happiness that actually we can start going to see people now, perhaps people we haven't seen for ages.
Yeah, so actually yesterday I went to my mum's house, like to the garden.
Yeah.
And that was really nice because I hadn't been to my mum's house in almost a year, I think, because obviously, that we've not been able to do that.
Yeah.
And yeah, my dog loved it because she got like loads of attention from everyone. And she got to see her best friend, which is my mum's dog, Teddy. So her and Teddy were like rolling around, like having the time of their lives in the garden with all the flowers and all the bumblebees and all the nice stuff. So yeah, that was great.
Perfect weather for it yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah, we brought ice poles. Like we literally on the way over, we were like, no, we're gonna have to stop, get some ice poles.
Yeah.
And then when we got there, just everyone had like an ice pole.
I bet that was so nice to catch up with everyone.
Yeah.
What about you, Laurel? Have you seen anyone yet? Have you got any plans yet?
I went out on Monday with a mate from where I live. We went for a walk with their dog. Hey, Steve.
Hi, Steve.
I went with a walk with them with their dog, and we went round where I live with some fields, and we sat in a field for quite a while.
Oh, nice.
The sunshine was really nice, and also it's quite near the canal and live, so we walked down the canal, and it was really nice.
Yeah, definitely. What about you, Luke? Did you feel happy on Monday that the rules have slightly relaxed and you can get to see friends and family in the garden?
Yeah, sure. You know, it's good, isn't it? It's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
I didn't personally go and see anyone.
No, I didn't either.
Not too fussed about that at the minute, to be honest.
I only met one person.
Oh, so yeah, I mean, we met, like I said, we met a couple of friends in the park yesterday, but I'm saving my sort of big meets for the weekend. We're meeting up with like my in-laws. They're coming into our garden on Good Friday. And then on Easter Sunday, we're going to my mum and dad's, which I'm really excited about because literally I haven't seen my mum and dad since Christmas Day. So I know like we FaceTime and whatnot, but I haven't actually physically been with them, spent some time with them, and I can't wait. And the kids are really excited. So I think it's going to be coats, hats, scarves, gloves though, because we're going to be in the garden and it's not going to be that warm, but it'll be worth it. So yeah, moving on. So talking about, we've had lovely weather and we can all get out and do stuff. Something we was going to talk about this morning. Did anyone see pictures of the parks in and around London? Now, actually, not just the parks in and around London. So if you know Northampton, Abington Park yesterday was absolutely heaving, which is fine. I know everyone wants to make the most of the weather and get out.
Yesterday, any sun seems to bring out everybody.
Yeah, but it's the litter. The litter that they left. Has anyone seen those pictures of different parks this morning? I'm not sure, Beth, if that's what you meant. Was it the people or
there's that one. There's I don't know if you're about to see that. That's Abington Park.
Yeah.
I saw some pictures that were posted somewhere. I've seen some this morning of just litter pictures, and they're literally just mounds of rubbish, like over like the bin and stuff. It's like mounds of rubbish, and like seriously, just put it in the bin.
I mean, there was lots on the news this morning, so I guess there's two elements to this, isn't there? There was people moaning on the news this morning saying, well, hold on a sec, it's the second day that we've been allowed out and about and people are already starting to not break the rules so much, but are we still maintaining the social distancing? Is it actually groups of 6? But the litter's a real big problem. Yeah, Beth's just said so many people and so much litter left behind.
I guess that's what we'll be like exploring for our community circle today. If anyone who's watching is gonna kind of tune in on that. So today we are actually gonna be talking about litter and the effects it has on our communities and our neighbourhoods. And we've got a couple of special guests coming on who are part of, litter picking groups in Northamptonshire. And yeah, that would be really interesting to kind of get their take on it and how to get involved with that. So
it's actually a perfect day for us to be doing a community circle about litter. Actually, it's worked out perfectly because of what's gone on and the pictures going around on social media and the press. But it does make you wonder, why people can't just pick up their litter and take it home. I mean, there were so many pictures on social media this morning of people that have gone out for an early dog walk or an early run, and it's incredible. It's not just a little bit here and there. You just think, what is wrong with these people? Do you know what I mean? Like, just take your litter home.
And then people complain that there's like, that Northampton, not swearing. How do I say this without swearing? that Northampton can be a very unclean place to kind of walk around and to live in, especially in like the town centre and around that kind of area. Like when I visited my mum's house yesterday, walking up her street, and there's literally like just stuff all over the streets.
She lives in Northampton?
Yeah, she lives in the Mount.
Oh, okay, not far.
So literally not far, about 5 minutes from where we are now. And there was just like bags and bags and bags of rubbish. There was just stuff strewn all over the streets. I've seen sofas. I mean, I don't know if they take away sofas.
Okay.
Or like wheels.
I know some councils will take your sofa away if you ring them up and book an appointment.
You have to book it in, don't you?
Yeah.
You can't just dump it outside and hope that someone will come along and take it.
I've seen mattresses. I've seen sofas. I've seen I saw 2 trolleys filled with rubbish. I don't know. They were grey.
Oh,
but that was when I literally, that was like, when I turned a corner to go onto Shakespeare Road, I think it was.
Yeah.
Which again is like very near here. And there was just 2 trolleys filled with rubbish on the road, just on the street. So yeah, that's what we'll be exploring.
Yeah.
during the community circle.
Definitely. And yeah, I guess we don't want to talk too much about this morning because otherwise you'll all be bored this afternoon. So but yeah, absolutely. It was really sad to see that people have, done that yesterday on the first sort of day. But let's hope people are a bit more sensible and considerate moving forward. But unfortunately, you're always going to get certain ones, aren't you?
Yeah.
Now, I just want to move on to another subject. Now, this is actually something that came up in the news at the end of last week, and I don't know if any of you's sorry, police car. There's all the sounds going on here now.
I was like,
police going past.
I was like trying to guess what it was. I was like, please.
I haven't done anything.
So did any and just sound of Mabel drop in Easter eggs on the floor behind me? You have to bear with us at the moment, guys. So did anyone hear about this teacher in Bradford who had parents protesting outside the school and ended up having to be taken into police protection because she showed a cartoon of the Prophet Muhammad? Did anyone hear about this?
I heard of something else Bradford related, but it wasn't that.
Well, yeah, I can't remember if it was Thursday or Friday, but it was like parents were having, because people were moaning, obviously, because of the COVID rules. But yeah, a massive protest. I think she wasn't intentionally trying to offend anybody, or I think it was actually something that she showed as part of, her class, some work going on in her class, and didn't actually realise the cartoon. But it's been taken massively offensively. But the parents have been protesting so much, she's have to been taken into police protection. Oh, Beth's heard about it. Yeah, there's uproar about it. I found that absolutely mental. You should have seen the pictures on the news and stuff of the amount of parents outside, just like.
What are they protesting?
Because the cartoon showed the Prophet Muhammad in it.
Oh, okay. So they're protesting the use of the image.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I understand that perhaps I don't know. I'm not the best. I don't know as much about all of this, but is that offensive then because of their religion?
Luke would not. Luke, do you have any feelings on this?
Sorry?
Do you have any opinion on this?
Come on, Luke. Have you got any opinions? Have you heard
I'm a bit lost. I don't. What is? So the teacher showed a cartoon. What's the cartoon about? First of all, do we know?
Hold on.
Was it just an image, or was it like an actual?
Hang on. Let me Google, guys. Just talk amongst yourselves.
Talking.
Teacher.
Talking to Laurel.
And was it part of a lesson? Was it part of an RE lesson?
I don't know. It was part of It's part of a lesson. I don't know if the sorry, it's really hard for me to just talk and do this on my phone.
I found it. It's
okay. So the teacher was suspended over Prophet Muhammad's cartoon. The teacher's been suspended after using a cartoon of the Prophet Muhammad during a religious studies lesson. The image was used during a lesson at a grammar school in Bradford and triggered more than 100 people protesting outside the school. The school and teacher have apologised, and the school's now said that they've taken that portion of the religious studies curriculum out of the school. But yeah, apparently the police had to go to the school. It had to be cordoned off because the protests were getting sort of so out of hand. Look, the question said here. I think it's because you're not meant to show him in picture form. See, I didn't even realise that.
Yeah, you're not meant to draw him, draw or anything. I know that. I think it's a bit excessive, isn't it? Suspending her from school and having a protest about it. I'm pretty sure she didn't mean anything, bad by it. At the end of the day, is she an RE teacher?
Well, I don't know. I think sometimes teachers teach a bit of everything these days, don't they? I think it's a bit extreme to be suspended, but what I find more extreme is the fact that she has to be taken into police protection because parents were that outraged. I can't.
That's ridiculous, isn't it? It's ridiculous.
with very strong faiths and beliefs. It's very important to them. But
if somebody's got big faith, very strong faiths and beliefs, then surely it'd be best to actually just explain to her why you shouldn't be doing that instead of protesting and getting her basically chucked out of school a bit harsh, I think.
I know. I just remember watching it on the news Thursday or Friday, just thinking, wow, I've never heard of such, just found it absolutely bizarre, to be honest. But yeah, there you go. Like Beth says, I feel like removing it from the curriculum makes it worse, surely.
Yeah, I agree.
Because my children go to a C of E school, but we're not religious, but they have to learn about all religions there, Judaism, Islam, everything. And I think that gives children a well-rounded view.
Yeah.
It's not forced down their necks, it's not pushed down their necks, but it's educating them on the different religions out there.
Christianity is definitely shoved down your throat when you're at primary, though, I have to say. When I was at primary school,
it depends what school you go to. It wasn't
I went to Stimson Avenue.
So did I.
Did you?
Yeah. Obviously, I'm like 20 years older than you.
We
went to the same primary school.
Went to the same primary school. Okay, so I went to Stimson Avenue, right, which is a school. It isn't like a Christian school or anything, but we'd have to sing, the God Has the World, in Zand.
Yeah.
And
he's got the whole world in his hands.
And all that stuff. And obviously everyone would have to sing that.
Yeah.
So I think that in a way is kind of shoving it down your throat. And I even think that maybe in some of my secondary school we had to do like a little bit of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, see, I went to Stimson Avenue, but this is 20 years before Georgia. I don't remember it being very Christian forced down me.
But the songs though.
Oh, the songs were an assembly.
But the songs are. But that's what I mean though. I mean, I don't mean in the sense of being like every teacher is like, oh, isn't Jesus great? I mean more like every morning you're singing about God, aren't you?
My kids have to do a prayer.
Same for me.
Before they have their lunch, they have to do a prayer every day. And
I think that's a little bit.
Yeah, and then because it's a C of E school, it's just one of the things.
That's it, isn't it? You go to a C of E school, that's what's going to happen. It depends on the schools you're in, the areas that you're in. My school was very, what's the word? It was very mixed. It was lots of, we got taught lots of different things in RE. I wouldn't say it was more heavy on one side than the other.
Yeah.
We
sang all sorts of songs in assembly. If anything, it's probably less Christianity.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that is really interesting to me, actually. There's I would say that in secondary school, I had like a very, very mixed knowledge of like different religions and stuff. So that was great. We had like a multi-faith room for people of different faiths to go and like pray there and do whatever they needed to do. So that was great. But then obviously the weird singing of Christian songs.
Yeah.
Because then that feels like that's more like subconsciously like putting it into you every day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rather than just.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I had
some about God every morning, then eventually you're gonna like.
It's gonna become embedded
in your brain. Like we both know the songs, and I
know the Not song as well, and I went to another C of E song where I live as well.
Yeah, I think those songs sort of just do the rounds, don't they, and carry on for years.
We had to do like that song, and we also had to do prayer every morning. And I used to hate it.
Oh, Lean on Me.
Yeah.
When you're not strong, I'll be your friend.
Yeah, that one.
I'll help you.
We're just going for a little singing session now. It's your turn. It's your turn next, Luke.
I'm gonna need somebody.
My mic's breaking. I can't hear you.
Is it? So you'll be like, sorry. Laurel found that really funny.
So, what was your favourite school song then, Luke?
I didn't really have a favourite. Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. It's the only one I could know all the words to.
Classic.
I mean, every morning we got in class, we sang a Hindu nursery rhyme.
Did you?
Okay.
Every morning.
Can you tell us it? Because that'd be interesting.
No, I can't. It was a long time ago.
Oh no! Come on! I
do remember it, but I'm not singing it.
Well, don't sing it. Just like recite it.
Yeah, and we we did that, and in assembly we'd sing different songs. We'd learn different, religions, and which I suppose is the way around the school, which is the way every school should be. Unless you are going to a school which is specifically an Islam school or a CME
you
school.
sort of like know what you're signing up for, don't you?
Yeah, you kind of expect it. So
yeah, it's funny.
Well, I need to like Google. What was it? Hindu lullabies.
You're going to try and sing it then?
I'm not going to try and sing it because I don't know what the tune is. Hindu lullaby.
Just thought you might make up your own. You seem to be in a real singing mode this morning.
Which one is it?
Don't know which one.
I've no idea. I've never done one. Never heard one. But anyway, whilst Georgia is Googling Hindu lullabies, let's move on. Let's talk about something else. So something that's really important to speak about today is mental health awareness day, week. I think it might be week.
It's not
day.
It might be day. It's Autism Acceptance Week this week. Like that.
It's what? Sorry.
It's autism acceptance this week.
Is it?
And it's also yesterday. It was World Bipolar Day.
Was it?
Yeah.
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 I posted about it on the page.
Because all on the board did a post about it on one of their boards, the London Underground.
Oh, did they? Oh, I love reading them. Oh, yeah, they're really good. Oh, I didn't know that was it was Autism Acceptance Week.
Yeah.
Obviously, Laurel, do you think that's a good thing, having an Autism Acceptance Week?
Well, it's better than awareness. I usually like to hide in this month because there's more risks go around than truth. But I try and follow things that are truthful on social media. From places that aren't groups of hate or groups that aren't just bashing the autistic community.
Do you feel like you get a lot of bashing for being autistic? Is that
sometimes,
experience?
I've had some bashing, yeah. I've had people go, "Oh, you're a bit too smart to be autistic," or "You can't be autistic because you're a girl."
Really?
You can't be autistic because you're a girl?
Yeah.
Where does this if you don't mind me asking?
Hans Asperger's, who was the first guy who found it, that's why the term Asperger's came from. He first did a study on boys, a small group of boys, and they started off thinking that because they only tried it on guys, they only thought it was in guys for such a long time, and even nowadays, girls are not always detected until late teens, early 20s, maybe even early 30s. It's really hard to get diagnosed. I only got diagnosed last year.
Yeah, I have a family friend who she's in her 40s and she's only just been diagnosed with Asperger's. And then she said that once she had that diagnosis, suddenly everything made sense in her life, kind of thing. Like she was like, "Oh, this is why this doesn't make sense to me, or this is why I get upset over this," or So I think
imagine though living that long a lifetime, that long amount of years, knowing that something's not quite right, but not being able to pinpoint. It must be such a relief to go, like you say, this is it. This is what you've been.
Yeah. But then half the time is you've got to find a GP that actually accepts your view of it, because there are some GPs that don't believe that women still have autism. It's a bit odd.
Really?
Yeah, I've heard people confused by their GP quite easily. Mine was, but then I had recognized guidelines, which is what the National Autistic Society tells you to take with you. I was like, I'm not taking them with me. They can look it up if they want to. So I just wrote a list of about 40 points on a spreadsheet of what affects me and how it affects me. And then I got referred to the NHS through their referral service, which took a while.
Do you feel like your autism, you have a constant battle? Do you feel like it's something that you are constantly sort of having to prove yourself, whether it be in education, whether you're going for a job, whether it's just in day-to-day life? Do you feel like it's a constant thing for you?
Well, sometimes and sometimes not. I'm technically autistic and I don't have autism. Having autism is the medical of talking about autism, which is a bit bad, I find, but That's okay. Medical models can always be changed. But yes, sometimes proving that you're autistic and not too autistic for jobs is. I haven't tried out I'm working job hunting at the moment, but sometimes in classes they're like, sometimes people act a bit oddly if you tell them that you're autistic. I accidentally mentioned it to my whole class last year in university by accident. We were talking about vaccines, ended up talking about the MMR jab, which has no relation to autism. Taking that out. But there was about in the 90s, Andrew Wakefield, I thought it was a good idea to make the correlation between autism and the MMR jab, which is annoying. No relation to it. And people were put off by putting that vaccine in their kids for a while.
I remember hearing about that.
Even though autism there's nothing bad about it, really. It's just a bit more out there, a bit more geeky.
Oh, absolutely. And I'd like to think that, the sort of day and age we're living in now, these sort of, autism, ADHD, things like that, should be becoming more of a norm. It doesn't make you, different in the sense that we should be like, whoa, we should all be a bit more accepting, because this is the world we're living in now.
But some places aren't, like, even in, like, some shops, it's really hard. Like, I walk into, like, Tesco's with my sunglasses on and headphones on. Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, so Phoenix System 80 says, I hear that if I just mention my dissociative identity disorder, people are put off by it.
Yeah.
But people do not accept. They judge and have that stigma.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think it's, as I kind of think that we're all sort of saying, so, there's like two main hurdles with mental health. One of them is getting diagnosed in the first place.
Yes, because it's so hard to get believed.
Exactly. It's very, very difficult. And then the second one is to have the people in your life accept it and support you.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you don't even get to the first one until you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, then it's very difficult then to do the second part, because they might think of you already in a certain way. And so it's hard for them to sort of change their behavior, because like they thought they just kind of have been acting as if you're neurotypical, but you're not. So
well,
like they have to make that adjustment.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Phoenix System 80 said, I always get asked which one of my alters is violent, because that is how Hollywood and everyone in literature views us.
Yeah, like I get the same thing. Is like I usually get asked if I like I do like trains. I do like trains, but I don't like trains as people portray I like trains. Like I don't like going train spotting, but I do like trains as in like telling you which services go to where, and what company owns what trains. I'm not but also the stereotype of autism is usually of a guy. Sorry, stereotypical, but always also a guy that has high support needs of a guy who like has also learning disabilities with autism. With autism. So it's a bit out, and all the movies that come out about autistic people are always so wrong. Like we had Rayman, so bad, so bad. We had recently the music from Sia, who has a 8% star, 8% rating on Rotten Tomato, which was supposed to be made about autistic people, but wasn't. And just other things like ADHD, dyslexia, dyspraxia, other things.
So it sort of feels a bit like that you're not really portrayed, or these illnesses, or these, these problems are not displayed in the right way, and given a true reflection of how things can be for you all.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that. I think that the way that Hollywood portrays a lot of these mental health disorders then kind of shapes the way that society views everyone with that disorder. So not recently, like a few years ago, my therapist was basically like, you have ADHD, like there's and I was like, oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense, because I have always struggled with like daydreaming, or like paying attention, and being in new environments is difficult sometimes, because I'm like, oh, look at that. And holding conversations, trying not to talk over people, which I sometimes do, and I try not to, all those kinds of things. But if people have like a very specific view of that, then they might not understand someone else who might have a completely different experience with ADHD.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think as well, from a lot of people I've spoken to and heard and read, especially when this is something you go through as childhood, you tend to get labelled as the naughty kid, don't you? I mean, I know quite a few people who have since later on in life been diagnosed with ADHD, and actually at school been labelled as that naughty child because they can't concentrate, because they can't sit still.
I was nearly labelled that kid at school. I was always swinging on my chair.
Stigma having to go through your education.
How many times I got told off in school for swinging on my chair, which I find it quite relaxing. It's just back and forwards react forwards to me, stimming, which is self-stimulatory behaviour. Anybody doesn't know. But it's just like walking backwards and forwards. It's quite comforting. And all teachers like, just put 4 legs on the floor. If you can't use a chair, you'll have to have something else. And so I used to just do it like just a bit of an angle, so I could just about get away with it. I used to get told off for rocking on my chair. And I'm like, I'm not gonna break my neck. Like they're like, if you fall off this chair, you're gonna break your neck. And I was like, yeah. And so it's walking in front of a car, but yeah.
I remember being like, when I was in school, I really struggled with paying attention to one thing at a time. So what I used to do to try and help that is I would listen to music at the same time as doing work, because that would help me to concentrate, because I'd be listening to the beat and then doing, you know, my work or whatever. And the amount of times that I was sent out of class and told off and detentions and like all this, and I was trying to explain to him, like, this is actually helping me to do what you want me to do. So by you taking this away from me, I now can't do what you want me to do because I can't concentrate. And so then I'd end up getting really aggressive because I'd feel really agitated that they wouldn't allow me to do the things that would help me to learn more. So then in the end, I would be like swearing, I'd be shouting, I'd be like, sometimes I used to throw things around because I'd have like a meltdown and all of that. And then you get labelled as like just someone who's being difficult. And it's like, well, if you actually think about what you're annoyed at me about, it's listen to music.
It's not really.
Yeah, like I had similar experiences. As in one of my schools, they did a whole school test of if there was any improvement with music. So they had so many people in our class doing it, I couldn't detention all of us. So they once did a test and they found out that it improved it a little bit, but not enough. But I was quite lucky because I found out a way of getting around the system. I had longer hair at the time. It was a bit longer than this. I could just stick one earbud, stick it down my shirt, like, and have it hanging like here, and it'd be down my shirt, and I would not notice it. But yes, best. I've seen one episode of Atypical. It's okay though. It's not the best.
I mean, it sounds to me like, from what we've all just spoken about, then really needs to be a greater awareness and a greater educating of all of this, because people make assumptions. People feel like, you know, that fits into that little box and that one, and if you don't, and that isn't how actually life works, is it? Because none of us really fit in exactly to these little boxes. So Phoenix System 8 has just said, my daughter suffers from paranoid schizophrenia and she can get frustrated and overwhelmed really fast. The school had to allow her to do things that helped her in school. Oh, 100%. That's really great that the school have been on board with you and are allowing her those, because there's so many that aren't. And it's really sad. It's really sad for those children. They don't decide, I know what I want to do. I want to have this, or I want to have that. It's about making their school years as you know, as easy and smooth for them as possible, because they're tough times as it is anyway, especially getting to those teenage years and you're at that, you know, they're hard enough just if you're going along, you know, normal, so to speak, whatever normal is.
Yeah, like neurotypical.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you've got hormones, you've got like stress, you've got, you know, potentially like family problems, you know, things that are going on at home, so on and so forth. The last thing you then want is to also have to carry the burden, because it is a burden at times to have these mental health disorders or conditions, because it seems like the system just makes it so much harder for us than it needs to be. If someone has autism and they find it very relaxing to swing on their chair, maybe either find a safe alternative or just allow them to do it in like a way that is more like less disruptive. Like if it's disruptive, then just put them somewhere else.
Or put them next to a side where they can't fall back. There's ways and means of making those things allowable within a classroom, isn't there?
Yeah.
I have these sort of fidget toys.
Exactly, like using fidget toys, like something like that can be so helpful. And stim toys, you know what they're called, stimmies?
Yeah, stim toys.
Stimmies and things like that. If schools could just have a go at being more proactive in finding ways of helping young people,
definitely,
we'd have much happier adults, wouldn't we? Because unhappy children then become unhappy adults because they've never had that support.
Yeah. Phoenix Sister Matey said my daughter, so we must say she's in the States. They're in the States, Phoenix Sister Matey, so it's slightly different to here in the UK. But my daughter was allowed to knit in class. It sounds silly to others, but it helps her keep focused and not focus on her hallucinations. Amazing.
That is really
and what
cool.
harm is she doing just by sitting there, you know, not harming anyone else?
I got told off knitting at school once. I once was knitting and they said those needles are too sharp. I was like, you can press on them and you like, they're not sharp. Like knitting needles aren't sharp. Like I had like most blunt pair ever. I got
the teacher tried to say that you've taken a weapon into school.
They were like, you can't knit in school. And I was like, I can knit in school. I can knit. They're not sharp. Well, you can't knit here. You can only knit in these certain places. And I was like, okay, I'll just move then.
Yeah, I mean, I think sort of this is a subject we could talk on and on about for a very long time, but I think just to sort of conclude today, there needs to be more awareness, there needs to be more educating, and do you know what, Laurel, thanks for just sharing your side of things this morning, because sometimes with people that's one of the biggest barriers, because you feel like you can't talk about it, you feel like you're going to be judged, you feel like people are going to maybe take the mick. So you've been really brave this morning and actually sat there and told us all about it, because this is how we're going to learn. I've learned stuff from you this morning about autism that I didn't know, and this is how we're all going to, this is going to sound really corny, but try and make the world a better place. You know, I'm not going to break into Michael Jackson, but you know, but it is, you know, this is like, you know, we all need to be kind to each other, and let's all help each other learn. And if you know something and someone else don't, share that information and be proud of who you are, I think is really important.
And thank you to Phoenix as well for sharing your side of things.
It was really interesting, and like it just goes to show as well, you know, we're learning something of how it's a lot different in the US obviously than here. So that's, you know, things that we need to be thinking of. Or why is that okay in the US but not okay for the UK? So it's a real like food for thought this morning, guys. That was a really interesting chat. Really enjoyed it. So thank you, everybody. So before we log off for this morning, don't forget, if you are around at 12:30, we're back online. We've got our community circle where we're talking all about litter. We've got some special guests with us. And that's it. If you can't join us, don't forget, we're back tomorrow, 10:30 to post. And we'll catch up with you all then. Have a great morning, everybody, and see you all soon. Take care. Bye.